Hi,
My name's J.A.H. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Goodness, you know, springtime is almost here, and daylight saving time is next week. Oh my gosh, oh boy, because I can tell that the weather has changed, the time is changing, and because of the sunlight comes up, and I love to see the sunlight. But anyway, I was surprised it was snowing last night, and it's still snowing a little bit. And I'll tell you, just drive safely. I heard we're supposed to have another storm. You know, I want to come to, like, your taxes now. I want to switch over and talk about taxes. Now, everybody I know, we got procrastinators like me. So, anyway, we have to prepare ourselves, get all this paper together for our taxes and make sure we have all the paper together. And as I was thinking about taxes and everything, I ran across a good friend here, and we were talking. And I took some time to talk to her at the library. And she used to work for a tax agency. But now she's on her own, entrepreneur, and she does a whole lot of other stuff besides that. And I was really, really excited, and I was glad to meet her. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to her. Now, her name is Josette Hill. She's founder of J.A.H, Tax Services, Inc. And I want to welcome you to Make It Happen. How you doing, girl?
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for having me.
Okay, in your busy life?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And you were telling me you used to work for a tax agency. We're not going to say any names, okay? So how did you feel working, you know, at a tax agency?
It was wonderful. I was so happy for the experience. I've always been working in financial services, and when I came across the tax company and started working for them, they hired me on as a tax professional, and later became the manager for the agency, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I learned so much about customer service, because I realized when you're dealing with people's money, when you're dealing with finances, people can get real ignorant. So, that experience really helped me to deal with the public, especially when it comes on to their finances. And so I really, really enjoyed the journey working for them, and I learned a whole lot. I learned a whole lot, not only about people, but also the industry. And, you know, from that, I felt like I wanted to build my own empire.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to do something for myself instead of, you know, I put a lot of hours and time and energy into someone else's business. And I feel like maybe I should put all that time and energy into my own.
Oh, okay. So actually she travels too. She travels around and helps people. Not only is she also a tax preparer, she helps people build up their credit. And I'm glad that you took that step to do it on your own. I know it took a lot of time and a lot of tax preparation, a lot of reading and everything else like that. And when I was talking to you like last week, you went to a training course, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you just talk a little bit about that before we get into the financial and the budget and all that?
Sure. I spent a lot of time learning the industry, and like you said last week, just last week I went to a training. But I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. I feel like in order to help someone else, and you first have to know what you're doing. And that's why I take the time to learn and learn and learn. I spend hours on the computer, just doing my continuing education credits, you know, because every year as a tax professional, the IRS asks you to do a certain amount of continuing education credits, and we'll do that. And there's more that you can do on your own that is not required by the IRS. It's just financial education. So I do more, and I'll travel outside of Connecticut wherever it takes me to learn more about the industry, because that's the industry I'm in. So I continue learning and learning about the industry and what I can do to help my customers, to help clients. Because, you know, I set up myself as a consultant, as the expert in the field. So as the expert in the field, I should be able to answer any questions my clients have, you know. And if they ask a question and I really don't know, I'll research it. I'll go find the answer so that I can help them, because, you know, my goal is to, you know, help my client, is to make them better than what when I met them, you know, to make them better than they were when I met them. So if I'm going to make them better, then I'm going to try to seek out the answers to the questions that they have and the concerns that they have, and try to, you know, help them get through it.
Oh, how long have you been working for the tax agency before you started doing it?
I worked for the company for 6 years before I started on my own. But before that 6 years, I was already in financial services. So I've been in financial services for over 15 years.
Wow.
I've been working in different areas of financial services. So I've always been a financial person, but not always been a tax professional.
Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. And when you're you're building, you know, when you have your clients, you're building friendships, you're building, you know, just connections and word of mouth too also, because it's always good word of mouth.
Right,
yes.
Right. What sets me apart from just a regular CPA or a tax agency is the fact that I build financial relationships with my clients. When someone comes to me for financial advice, I do a thorough interview with them. I am not spending 15 to 30 minutes with my clients talking about their finances, because there's no way you can just use 15 minutes and learn about someone's financial situation. I'll be there for hours, you know, going through every single thing, because you'll be surprised how many things that we forget to talk about, you know, how many things in our financial life that we forget. And so when I do the interview and I ask the questions, they're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So I do a thorough interview with my clients, so I can build relationships and make recommendations, because I make recommendations to help them to think long term, to help them think about what's going to happen when you retire.
Yes.
I don't just sit down and talk about your taxes, because that's just a fraction of your financial life.
Yes, definitely.
So what about all the other areas? So I'll talk about everything, from if they're children, if there are no children, are there going to be future children? And if they are, do you have plans for that? I talk about what's going to happen when the child is ready to go to college. I talk about that. What's going to happen when the child is ready to get married? What's going to happen when you're ready to get married, if I'm talking to a younger person? So I talk about all the areas of their life that they tend to neglect or not look at. I talk about insurance for the younger people who think that I'm not going to die right now. You know, I talk about retirement for the younger individuals who are not thinking about that. So I talk about a lot of things when I sit down with one client. So that really sets me apart. So that's the reason why I see myself as a consultant and not necessarily just a tax professional.
What's the best age to get insurance for your kids?
So day one.
Day one, really? When they're born?
As soon as they're born.
Wow.
You know, we don't know how long we're going to be here. So if the best age is right now. It's always right now, because tomorrow is never promised.
Yes, you're
to
right
anyone,
about that.
and to anyone, whether you're a baby or not. And there's a lot of things that we go into details when I sit with my client to talk about insurance for their family, because there's a lot of things that we take into consideration. Some people want more, some people want less, depending on their budget and also depending on their family structure. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and that's the reason why I spend a lot of time doing the interview, to talk to each person to know exactly what this family is going to need for the future, for long term. And I always ask my clients to look out to the end and work backwards.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Yeah, because you have to see the end. You have to look outwards. A lot of people are looking today and then tomorrow and then the next day, but you have to look way out there and then work your way backwards.
What's the best age to, well, you know what? I'm going to have to save that. So we'll be right back. I was going to say, what's the best age to start your retirement planning? But we will be right back with Make It Happen with Josette Hill, okay?
Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
Like that it affects millions.
People in almost all races.
Black and white.
Indian and Asian.
Hispanic and Mediterranean.
And that it can affect you or someone you love.
No matter where you come from.
Let's face it, there's a lot you don't know about sickle cell disease.
And that's a disease too. Call the 211 info line to learn more.
These are the monsters of the road. Ever drive alongside a tractor trailer in the rain? Scary. You're hoping they don't change lanes. Now they see you, now they don't. This monster can crush you in an instant. They may be insured for millions, but you're not thinking of that in a dangerous situation. I'm attorney Jeffrey Dressler. Have an accident, you know what to do. Because this is what we do. 24/7, 11/22.
Welcome back. Yes, I'm here with Josette Hill, founder of J.A.H. Tax Services, Inc. And I had to stop for a moment. And the question I wanted to ask you, because I'm getting right back to it, is what is the best age to start planning for retirement?
I would say right out of college, you know, right as soon as you start your first full-time job right out of college. And that's for the average person, it's probably usually around age 25. So as soon as you start your first full-time job, I would say start contributing towards your company's 401k or whatever retirement plan they offer at the workplace, you know, at your job. Just start contribution to that. You know, a lot of times people are saying, well, I don't want to contribute to that because I'm too young, or I don't feel like I earn enough money yet to start making extra contributions out of my paycheck. But it's always good to start early, because the earlier you start is, you know, obviously the better for you. And if you're a freelancer, say you're not working for a company, you decide to do things on your own, you're an entrepreneur, then as soon as you start earning, you know, you're in profit in your business, because when you're just starting out, you're probably not in profit for maybe the first 6 months or so. But once you're in profit, I think you should start contribution to a Roth IRA, because you're thinking about your future. Like I say, you have to think about the long term. You have to look way out there and work your way back. So that's one way to do that. You know, you're thinking ahead.
Now, is it good to borrow off your Roth IRA?
It depends on your circumstances, and everybody's situation is different. If you are borrowing from your Roth IRA and the interest that they're charging you is much less than what you're purchasing with the loan, then it probably is a good idea, you know, because then you're going to pay back with maybe little or no interest, and that loan that you took out, you could probably use it to purchase an asset or something that's going to bring in income. So if you use that loan to purchase something that's not a liability, you can't use it to purchase things like groceries or a medical expense, because you know that just doesn't make it. That money is going to be gone forever. You have to use that loan to generate more income, because you know that's the only way you're going to be on top. If you use that to generate more income, then that's a good thing. If you're going to use it for something that's going to take away money from you, then obviously that would not be a good thing to do. But so it really would depend, and I would advise my client based on what the reason is for taking the loan. You know, so it would be different for each person.
Now I know they got CDs and stuff. I'm talking about financial, you know, savings. Why is CD so low?
Oh, well, why it's so low?
The percentage rate, yes. I'm like, what?
That would have to, that's a question for the financial institution. They're the one that you know, create the interest rate, and they're the ones that, you know, determine what it's going to be. But you have to understand the way the general public is set up, it's not set up to make you rich. You have to think outside of their little box in order to get what you want. So CDs, I mean, I can't say CDs is not the way to go, but nobody wants to make 2%.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
There's so much more things out there that they don't tell you about, that you can earn much higher interest in, but they don't tell you. So once you have someone who knows, then that person can advise you, you know, at other places that you can put your money and grow your money without having to feel like you're stuck in a CD. You know what I mean? Because the system is set up to keep you in a little rat race. So you have to get out of that mind frame and that box in order to create financial independence for yourself.
Oh, okay. Very good. Oh, my goodness. Very good. Now, I'm going to get on taxes here because you're a tax preparer. And a couple of questions I have here, and I'm going to read from my notes here. What kind of new tax laws are there? And are they going to be, like, really next year? You know, what new tax laws that we're going by now when you prepare people's taxes that wasn't there before?
Well, I've gotten a chance to get some insider information on the new tax laws that are coming down, that is going to be in effect next year. And from my financial viewpoint, I think it's going to be better. It's going to be better for individuals, and it's going to be better for freelancers, people who are entrepreneurs. Overall, from what I've seen, the proposal of the bill seems like it's going to work out best for individuals, especially people who are W-2 workers, because W-2 workers get the brunt of the taxes. You know, low to moderate income workers pay most of the taxes. So I think the bill is set up to help those people, to help low to moderate income workers who are W-2 workers. So I think it's going to be better based on what I've read so far.
Oh, okay. I got another question. I'm reading from my notes. Why should elderly people after, let's say, 70 file taxes?
Why should they file taxes?
Yeah,
well,
or 85.
It doesn't matter what your age is, as long as you have earned income you should file your taxes because you may have a tax liability. So it really depends. If it's just Social Security or pension, some of that income is taxable. And with the new bill, that's going to change. In the new bill also, they're trying to get rid of the tax on pension and Social Security income. Right now, some of the income is taxable. Some of it, not all of it. Because when someone has a Social Security or pension income, sometimes they also have other income. They might have a rental property or, whatever. As long as there are other income involved, then as long as you earn income, you have to pay taxes on it. So it doesn't matter what your age, what's your age, you just have to pay taxes on your income. Taxes are not going anywhere. You always have to pay taxes.
That's why they get the people in Hollywood, but anyway. What new tax deductions can be claimed, as for this year, or they're still the same?
Well, tax deductions are still the same. But the tax deductions are different for people who work a W-2 job than for people who are maybe like freelancers who have like a 1099 or a business owner, like a small business, or entrepreneur or something like that. So the tax laws and the tax bracket are different for the way you earn your income. So if you're a regular employee with just a W-2, the best route for you may be to just file your standard deduction, because your standard deduction this year, I think it's about $6,350. And so unless you have more than $6,300 worth of expenses, then it would be beneficial for you to just file as a standard. But if not, like let's say you own a home and other factors like that, you might have more than $6,000 worth of things to claim. So in that case, you can itemize and then maximize your deductions. And what the deductions do, it lowers your tax liability. And so therefore, if your tax liability is less, then you pay less taxes. And so you will be able to get a refund in most cases, or just cover your tax liability, what you would owe to Uncle Sam.
Okay. What do clients tell you that they went from an agency to you? What do they tell you, the difference?
Oh, the difference? Yes. All the time I hear that, oh, they didn't ask me that question last year. Like, when they come to me and they'll say, well, when I go to, like, say, such and such a place, I only spend 15 minutes in there, 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm out. But when they come to me, they're spending 2 hours. And they're like, oh, my goodness, why are we taking so long? And then I'll explain why we're taking so long. And then at the end of the interview or the session, they see the difference from what they did last year. And they'll be like, oh, but they didn't ask me that. No, I didn't claim that. Yes. Oh, I didn't think I could claim that last year, or, stuff. So I'll get questions like, I'll get things like, oh, I didn't know that I could claim this or claim that because nobody asked me. And I said, but you didn't tell anybody? Oh, I didn't know. So a lot of times people don't really know the questions that they can ask a tax professional until the tax professional asks them the question.
Right. That's true.
So once I ask the questions, the light bulb goes off, like, oh, I never thought of that. So that's the difference that I found.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back with more talk with Josette. Okay. Josette Hill, founder of J.A.H Tax Services, Inc. So we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm J. Stan McCauley, and I'm exploring a run for mayor of the city of Hartford in the 2019 election. It's undeniable that Hartford has many challenges. However, I believe that our residents are our strength. The question is, do you believe, like I do, in the potential of Hartford? You see the many assets the city has, but do you wonder, as I do, why we are still struggling to move ahead? Do you wonder why the solutions being offered to us just don't seem to get the job done? Well, creating a vibrant city begins with you. We have incredible people who live in the city, who have great solutions to Hartford's biggest challenges. But you don't always have a platform to have your ideas heard, let alone given an opportunity to co-create solutions that work for you, that work for us, that work for Hartford. Hartford's journey will be bumpy, and we'll continue to face highs and lows that challenge us to work smarter and come together as a community that is willing to capitalize on the power of our collective diversity of thought. The challenges facing Hartford will require each of us to act, whether in small ways or big ones. If you're with us on this journey, give me a call at 860-944-9797 and host a listening event for me. Invite a few of your friends so we can explore the possibilities together for a better Hartford.
What's going on? Oh, baby. What's really going on?
Welcome back. Yes, I'm here. Back again with Josette Hill. Actually, she's the founder of J.A.H. Tax Services, Inc. Okay. Now, to finish off in the last segment, you know, I still got some more questions here. And what I'd like to also ask you is about how long does it take for your income tax to return?
Usually, the IRS says it's 21 days, give you about 21 days after filing to process it. Sometimes the IRS may have a delay for whatever reason, like maybe the earned income credit if you're claiming that, or any other credit. But if they do, they'll post it on their website that there's a delay. But usually, normal processing time is about 21 days.
Now, I know I went to go get some papers for somebody, and I think one of the taxes you have to do online or something.
Is it for business or?
I don't know if it's a Connecticut state tax, or I think it might be the Connecticut state tax. I forgot. But anyway, I was like, why is that? And if people don't have any computers, I guess they have to go to somebody else to have the assistance for them to do it online. Now, everything is online most of the time, right?
They're still accepting paper returns, even if it's for businesses. Everyone is encouraging us to work online now because, you know, we're going towards the paperless thing, and everybody is trying to say, do this online, do this online. So the IRS also is doing that. You know, if it's a small business or so, it's just a few steps, like one page. So they're encouraging people to do it online because it's quicker, it's less paper, it's less hassle, it's less errors. So they're wanting you to do it online, but they will accept paper. So if you don't have access to a computer, you can do it on paper because they're still accepting papers, but they're encouraging people to do it online now. As much as possible.
Okay, and also you can put this in your checking account, right? So when you do your taxes, if somebody comes to you and you prepare the taxes, do you do them it can also go into their checking account. Is that
Right,
correct?
absolutely. You can get your refund direct deposited into your checking account or any account. Can even go into your retirement account if you want to.
Okay.
As long as the account has an account number and a routing number,
okay,
you can put it there. And if you owe taxes, you can also pay from your account, because a lot of times people who owe taxes are wondering, well, do I have to mail a check? I don't use checks anymore. How does that work? So you can also pay your taxes due. You can pay that also by direct debit, EFT, from your account.
Okay. Now, how many deductions can a person claim?
Well, that would depend on the individual. Like I say, if that person is a W-2 employee, there are different rules for someone who is maybe 1099 employee or someone who is a freelancer, 1099 worker or a freelancer, like a contractor or so. So there are different rules for how you earn your income. So let's say we're going to take in general a single person who has just a regular W-2 income, then they would be better off going with the standard deduction and wouldn't benefit much trying to itemize their deduction.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you owe state loans, talk to me a little bit about that. Will they garnish your refund check?
Absolutely, they will. If you have like a federal loan, and then you owe the federal loan, then the IRS have a right to the federal government to hold on to your refund to cover that federal loan, because it is federal, and because it's federal, they have the right to do that. They can garnish whether it's coming from the state or it's coming from the IRS. They can hold on to your refund to cover that loan. Okay. However, in order to avoid that, you would have to get in touch with the IRS and make a payment arrangement. So if you have a federal loan, like maybe let's say it's a student loan or whatever, you would have to contact that agency and make a payment arrangement. And if there's a payment arrangement there, then they would not garnish your federal income tax to cover it, because you've made arrangement to cover that.
Now, would you suggest a person who has in the past not filed the income tax within 2 years and then they start filing their income tax, what's the best advice would you give that person?
I would say file your income tax. You should not have any income tax obligation. The IRS will allow you to go back 3 years and file, your income taxes. So if you have not filed in the past couple of years or so, you can, you could file both years and get it over with. But it's always best to make sure you have no outstanding income tax obligation to the IRS, because if you earn income, you're obligated to pay taxes on it. So you should always file your tax return regardless of what you might think the situation is. And the reason why it's so good to have a tax preparer do it for you is because the obligation might not be as bad as you might think it is. It might be much less than what you think it is. So it's always good to go ahead and just do it. Okay.
What is earned credit? Actually,
earned income credit.
Earned income
credit is a refundable credit that the federal government gives to people who are low to moderate income, especially those with children. You can qualify for the earned income credit even if you have no child, but the earned income credit is for low to moderate income individuals who work and have low income, and the federal government gives you a credit for the fact that you are working. But the credit phase out after a certain amount of income. So depending on your household size, and it depends on your marital status, your filing status, then the income credit will phase out.
Okay. And can daycare expenses be tax deductible? And also your car, is that still tax deductible too also?
Actually, it is. It's not just tax deductible. It's actually the daycare credit is a refundable credit. Okay. You can, the IRS gives you a maximum of $600 back based on your income also. So if there's no tax liability, then you wouldn't qualify for the credit. But if you have tax liability, you can actually qualify for daycare expenses.
Okay. And tax, a car tax, you can still claim that.
Yes,
too.
you can still claim your property taxes.
Okay. What do you find most interesting about your job, that you're an entrepreneur?
People, dealing with people. It's very, I like dealing with people, and everybody is different, and so it's very interesting to learn about the differences of all of us. You know, it's very. I like learning the different nuances of everyone. So I think the most rewarding part is making a difference in people's financial life and just dealing with people. I love interacting with people.
Okay. And how long again you been doing this?
15 years.
Okay. No, I'm talking about working, doing yourself.
Oh, on my own, running my own business, about 5 years.
Wow.
Now, but I've been in this industry for a long time.
Yeah. Good tax person. Anyway, for the viewers, cutting short of time, and you know, if you have any questions, please contact Josette. And can you run your phone number real quick?
Sure. My phone number is 860-538-4476.
Okay. And I don't want people to be a procrastinator, so let's get in touch with Josette. Okay. And then she can also help you with anything you want, your credit, taxes, and financial building. And what I'm going to end with that. And I'll see you next time. I'll make it happen. But I want to, before I go off, I want to say, actually, Hartford 4th District, Democratic Town Committee, Alternative State, vote row C, okay? And then I'm reading from the back of the card, so don't forget to vote. I believe it's tomorrow. And also consider row C for change. Well, I want to say, bless you, everybody. Have a great day. And it's going to be interesting on daylight savings time, I tell you. So I think I better keep my same my same routine. But anyway, have a blessed day. Have a nice weekend. See you next time on Make It Happen. God bless you. Do something for somebody nice, okay?